It's a few minutes past 7 o'clock, so let's get this truck on the road. Welcome to BlockchainLab Drenthe, where I will try in the next, let's say, 60 to 80 minutes to entertain you, to inform you about distributed ledger technology and blockchain. Now, let me start with the introduction of BlockchainLab Drenthe first. You can see our name on the wall, and let me tell you a little bit about that. Now, we are a foundation, a non-profit foundation. BlockchainLab Drenthe Foundation has the goal to spread knowledge, experience and insights about distributed ledger technology to students, entrepreneurs, governmental bodies, schools, private persons, everybody who wants to be involved in this field. Now, we also develop blockchain applications. We do feasibility studies. We lecture on the University of Applied Sciences here in Edmonton. We do audits, all kinds of things, and we organize monthly meetups like this one. And they were, of course, in physical form, but then something happened with COVID, and now we are all online for the last 2 years. Now, we are heavily, and you could already see it here, I believe, heavily invested in Interest Project Bling, which is a European project, and Bling stands for Blockchain in Government. Now, Bling is a project with 14 partners from 6 North Sea region countries, and these partners are sharing experiences about their pilots in the field of public services. And there are lots of very interesting projects going on. I might share the internet website later on. We also do different projects for the province of Drenthe. We do a project with self-sovereign attendancy for the municipality of Emmen. You will see later on, we're making the energy knip for the city of Groningen. We're doing all kinds of stuff. So it's very interesting to have other universities, other cities sharing this information with each other. On the next slide, I have something to tell you about communicating with us. You can hear me and see me, but we would also like to hear and see you. I know that's impossible through YouTube, but we can exchange information. You can communicate with us. There is a chat function in YouTube, and you can use that to get in touch with me, with the other people from BlockchainLab Drenthe, and with other people from the audience. The only thing you have to do is you have to log in with your Google account, because YouTube is a Google company and they don't want anonymous people typing in all kinds of stuff. So you'll have to log in, and then you can use the chat function. And we would love to hear where you're from, what you're looking for. And if you have any questions or remarks during this presentation, then please put them in the chat box. Now, afterwards, we are having an informal gathering at Kumo Space. So when I close this presentation, then I'll give you again this web address, and Kumo Space is a bit special. You can go there and talk to other people, and they can see you. Now, it's not like a Teams meeting where one person talks and the other people have to listen. No, you can walk around in this space and stand close to somebody, and then that person can see and hear you. So there can be many discussions going on in that room. Like I said, I will show you the web address later on. This is the agenda for tonight. Always, as first thing, I will announce when our next meetup will be on the 3rd Thursday of February, which is the 17th. And this evening, we have 3 topics, as always. The first topic is what's going on in the blockchain space. I will talk about price movements, but also about scams. Today it's a lot about scams. There's a lot going on. Lots of other stuff. Then our second topic will be presented by Martin Visser, the impact of blockchain on society. He did a lot of thinking about that, and he will present his thoughts in his presentation. Then the last topic will be the energy knip. We, as BlockchainLab Drenthe, designed and programmed the energy knip for the municipality of Emmen, which is a sustainability project based on the IOTA tangle. So I'm going to show you exactly what that is, how it works, and I will not be doing that presentation alone. With me will be Martin Visser, which I interviewed this afternoon. He's from the municipality of Emmen, the concern manager, and he will give his thoughts about the energy knip. So without further ado, let's start with the first segment. What's going on in the blockchain space? And there is lots of things going on in the blockchain space. Never a dull moment, I would say. We always start with looking at some price action. This is one of the screens that most people are starting out when they are interested in blockchain. Most people come in through the door of crypto coins, and we can see what's been going on with Bitcoins and Ethereum and Solana and Cardano, etc. And let me tell you, that was this month not the best month for our Bitcoin friends. They lost 14.6% in value when I compare that to the last meetup we did in December. Right, so Bitcoin went from 49,200 up to 42,000, losing, like I said, a little bit over $7,000, which is 14.6%. Now, the rest of the market also went down 15%. Right? Sometimes we see that Bitcoin is going down a lot more than the rest. Altcoins have been on the up a lot of times last year, but the market has been going down in general. Market cap is 15% down, which is in line with what happened with Bitcoin. So it's average. Now, we can see lots of things here going on. The first thing is, okay, yes, it went down 15% last month, but over the year, from the January 2021 meetup until now, the market as a whole, the market cap, went from under 1 billion to over 2 billion. Now it's a little bit under, so plus 108%. People who invested money on average doubled their money just by being in the market, which attracts a lot of people, I must say. If you look at interest rates at the banks at the moment, sometimes you even have to pay interest, otherwise you'll get next to nothing. Then 100% is astronomical. What we can also see is that the number of coins is still growing, right? January last year on our meetup, there were 8,300 tokens on exchanges. Today, it's 17,000 tokens, right? Everybody comes with his own token, which they want to trade publicly, and we'll come back to that in the scam part later on. What you can also see is that Bitcoin, when you look at the end of the line, is now only 40% of all the money invested in coins. And last year, we started out with 64%. So Bitcoin was 2/3 of all the money invested in all coins around the world. And that dominance has gone drastically down. Now, if we look at the chart of Bitcoin last month, right, this was the date of our last meetup, you can see it weren't many merry days. Only around Christmas, the Bitcoin people had a Merry Christmas with a little plus, but at the moment we are down 14, nearly 15%. Where last month this picture was shown where the blue line being Ethereum was outperforming the orange line being Bitcoin. Hey, they were both losing money, but Ether was losing less money. This month, it's the other way around. They are, again, both losing money, but this time Ether is doing worse than Bitcoin. So they have been racing each other down. There's not much advantage to be in one of either of these cryptocurrencies. Now, to some extent, the race downwards, the negative trend we see, is being fed by governments. Here you see some governments, like Pakistan, are trying to ban crypto. China banned miners, right? On the other hand, there are countries like El Salvador who are embracing Bitcoin as their legal tender. And Tonga also wants to do that. But the whole of South America, there are a number of countries that are looking to embrace crypto as their currency. Now, Mr. Zuckerberg scared most of the European economies with his Libra coin, and they were banned very, very fast. They're trying to come back with Diem now, but everybody knows about Libra. So there are many countries scared of that, trying to push crypto away. Many in favor of their own currency, their own digital currency, which they are developing. Right? So there are two reasons that these countries are pushing cryptos out. They're not always saying it out loud, but the first reason is that they're working on their own CBDC. So people shouldn't use all these wild Eldorado cryptos. No, they should use the digital yuan or the digital euro or a digital version of the dollar. That's what they should use. The other reason is that they use is energy mining not being sustainable, and we'll come back to that in a moment. Now, even religion has something to say about cryptos. As you can see here today, an Islamic organization announced a new fatwa on crypto because it's not Islamic, because there's too much speculation and it's not a legal tender. So if you're Muslim, you shouldn't use crypto. And everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has something to say about crypto. This is the reason I mentioned earlier. Even in Europe, the governments are looking into it because the EU is talking about it, looking into it to ban crypto mining because it's not sustainable, it's using too much energy, and you shouldn't do it. Now, the Bitcoin community is switching to green, so to speak, right? The miners leaving China, going to Canada, to the US, most of them switched over to mining on green energy. And you can see here a graph, of course, by the Bitcoin community themselves, but still where they show that Bitcoin is using more sustainable energy than most countries, right? And there are other impulses also. Elon Musk having accepted Bitcoin for a short period of time for buying Teslas, quit accepting Bitcoins as long as that not at least 50% of them work on sustainable energy. So it's another impulse. And the European community says, well, we need to have a long talk about shifting the industry to more efficient technology. So where Ethereum 2.0 is switching to proof of stake, that is in their favor. And even for IOTA, which is one of the most energy efficient protocols present, which we also use for the energy knip, of course, it could be in their favor, right? I don't expect a big rally out of this for the crypto people, beware. But I think lots of these regulations add up and might be very favorable also for IOTA. Now, on a more positive note, we all know Beeple, the artist who made a digital artwork every day for lots of years, and the first 5,000 days he put together in one NFT and sold it for $60 or $70 million a few months ago. Since then, NFTs are hot. Not hot, they are burning. Right? Everybody and their mother buys NFTs, wants to mint NFTs, etc. But very seldom somebody really hits the jackpot. Right? Now, this guy did. Right? This is a guy from Indonesia, a 22-year-old student, and he's been making a selfie picture for about 4 or 5 years now, from his 18th to the 22nd. And he made one big NFT out of it, a little bit maybe inspired on Beeple, right? So these 5 years, and he sold that. He put that in an NFT on OpenSea and got $1 million for it, right? So there are people that are becoming rich, and in Indonesia, $1 million, you can really buy something, you can really bring that to the bank. So very positive. Don't expect pictures of your cat to bring $1 million, but still, it's good to be in that market and to find out how it works. Then the next step is restaurants. Restaurants are closed here in the Netherlands. They're not allowed to open because of the pandemic. And this Canadian restaurant was closed also in Toronto, and said, well, let's try to find another way to earn some money, and let's invest in cryptos. Well, they did, and they had 300% profit. Their portfolio gained a lot of money. So now they are spreading the news, being very positive, and telling all that there is still hope for small businesses if they use cryptos as a hedge, as long as they cannot earn any money in the pandemic, they could earn money in the crypto markets. And then this happened. We got in the news. BlockchainLab Drenthe got in the news all around the world, and that's why I'm presenting it here and also later on. Our energy knip got into English, German, Chinese. This is Italian, French, and even Macedonian news. So there's lots of people looking at our project, and it's good to be seen once in a while. And so I wanted to present this also. We had a tough time translating this, but I think it's okay what they write about us. Then we come to the last part of this first topic, and it's always scams. Right? It's not that we are idealizing and making Robin Hoods out of these crooks. No, absolutely not. But we are trying to inform people what is happening out there, what's going on, which scams are there, so you're warned. Right? Now, this is a very recent crack. The Crypto.com exchange was hacked by a number of hackers a few days ago, and first they denied it, but then I mean, the blockchain is transparent, right? You look at some block explorers and you can see what's being transferred. So lots of people noticed that there is nearly $34 million missing from the accounts of Crypto.com, and today they announced it. Nearly 500 accounts were compromised. And those were all accounts that don't have two-factor authorization. the hackers took the money, the ethers, and they went to at least half of the ethers they put in Tornado Cash. And Tornado Cash is a tumbler, a way to hide where the money comes from or where the money is going to. You might have heard about tumblers, right? That's where you put your bitcoins in a tumbler. They do this and they pay the same amount that came in, but to other people. So the money I pay to Jeroen might end up at Peter's place, and what somebody who wants to pay Peter would end up at Jeroen. But the sum would be zero, and everybody would be happy. But you cannot see that I paid money to Jeroen. Now, in Ethereum, they have something that works more or less the same. It's not a tumbler. What you do is you generate a key, a private key for random numbers. You deposit the ethers in Tornado Cash, and you'll wait. The longer you wait, the bigger the privacy, right? Because there's money coming in, money going out of that vessel. And after a while, on the other side, there is some anonymous person, probably yourself, but an anonymous person with that key that was generated by you, which has that exact key and says, okay, I want to take that money out. But it's hard to prove that that is the same person, right? Because the tracking and tracing stops at Tornado Cash. Now, so these crooks already put half of the money in, but there are special companies watching that with big binoculars where the money is going to end up, and trying if they can get it back, if they can seize it. Okay. Now, there is also organized hackers, government organized hackers. Probably you can remember the Israeli hackers that were trying to break into Iranian nuclear plants, right? Government departments with hackers. Well, it turns out North Korea also has government hackers, and they stole around $400 million last year, and they are targeting investment firms, right? They are trying to hack the accounts and take money out, like crypto.com, and use that to circumvent the international rules that were put on them, and they are trying to use this malicious money to buy stuff they need for the technology and food and other things they need for their country, because all their normal bank accounts are frozen by the UN. But these crypto accounts, as long as it's stolen money, they can do anything they want with it, right? So North Korea has a very successful and probably very large government hacker department. Now, on a more positive note, there's this company, Chainalysis. They analyze all the crypto transactions because everybody says they are anonymous, but they are pseudonymous. So as long as you do your transactions on the blockchain, nobody knows who you are. But as soon as you take money out, or if you, let's say you buy a plane ticket with Bitcoin, then the company knows, okay, that account number is yours, and now I know where your money is coming from and how much money you got. Now there's Chainalysis, which is a company who does that professionally for banks, for tax offices, and they see that crypto crime is falling, right? It's harder and harder, and that's what I tell people every time when they say, crypto money, blockchain, crypto coins is only for criminals who want to evade tax and use criminal money to extort people, etc. Then I ask them, if you were a criminal, would you store your money on an immutable and transparent ledger. So you cannot delete your tracks afterwards. It will be there forever, and everybody can see the transactions, right? You probably don't want to. So Chainalysis is the proof of that. They keep tracking coins until someday, somewhere, they will pop up. And they see that a large portion of the scams in 2021 were pull rugs. So there are people, organizations, criminal organizations, I mean, that make their own coin, put it on an exchange, a decentralized exchange. You can just put your coin on there. You create a hype, so people will buy that coin, and then you run, right? So the people who bought that coin, there is no liquidity in the pool to sell them back, right? So you're in the Bahamas enjoying a margarita, and all these people are standing there and empty-handed. That's what it's called, a pull rug. They pull your rug from under your feet. That's 2021. Now, they see also that there is a trend where the criminals move from pull rugs to DeFi. So be very cautious if you are going into the DeFi market. What are the parties involved? Are they legit? Do they have a track record? All kinds of stuff. So caveat emptor, buyer beware. And what they also see is that cryptojacking is on the up. So 73% of all the crypto scams are not the big scams anymore, right? The breaking in an exchange or at an investment firm, those are only a small portion. Lots of money, but a small percentage portion. The biggest part, 73%, is cryptojacking, and that's when a malware on your computer, we all know malware in the form of adware, right? Where you see all these ads on your computer pop up. Now, this malware uses your computer to mine crypto and send it to the guys who developed the malware. So you'll see your computer getting slower and slower, your processor heating up, etc. But they do this on a level that you hardly notice it. And if you do that with 10,000s of computers, then you'll earn real money, right? So be aware of what you install on your computer, what the sources are of the software you install, or even the websites you use. There are websites infected with cryptojacking software. And if you see that your computer is getting slower, then try scanning it with your antivirus software. Perhaps you also have a case of cryptojacking. Okay, that's the blockchain news for today. I've been talking for about 20 minutes now. That's much too long. I'll see if there are any questions about this topic, and otherwise we'll go to the next topic. Now I see lots of people talking. That's very, very good. I saw some questions about miners and proof of work. Yeah, that's the problem that the EU is addressing, right? Lots of miners use lots of electricity. Now, at the moment, the electricity price in Europe is rather high. So it is not very lucrative to mine Bitcoins in Europe. Only in countries where the electricity price is very low, which was China with its water electricity plant. But in Europe it's not that much, but still the EU wants to put a lid on that and stop that because it's not sustainable. And everybody knows. I mean, it's not the biggest problem. I mean, the Bitcoin is the steam machine of blockchain, right? It was the first generation, and of course we have evolved, and there are more energy efficient ways to do this. Ethereum is going to proof of stake. IOTA has its own protocol and its own way of dealing with not having miners and using less energy. But there will be more protocols which pick that up, and that's old news. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, there are a lot of Bitcoin maximalists who still adhere to no, this is the best coin in the world, and yes, we might have a problem, but then we just put another layer on it, and we use Lightning, and then we can do lots of transactions locally between persons and our own wallets, and only the starting transaction and the end transaction will be on the Bitcoin blockchain. Yeah, but the Bitcoin blockchain still has to be there for when these transactions need to be done. So without the Bitcoin blockchain, there will be no second layer. So yeah, we see all over the world people going in more energy efficient ways and adjusting to the new technology and evolving the blockchain. Now let me see if there are any other questions. I see a lot of IOTA fans around. That's very good. And people from Canada, Turkey, Finland. Great to have you guys. Great. That's why we do it. And that's why we are doing this in English. Because we have lots of international partners that are watching at the moment live, but also later on, because this stream will stay on YouTube and you can visit this page and look at it. I promised the link to the Blink project. It's in the description of our this YouTube movie. Okay, if there are not any specific questions, I already answered something about coins, I believe. We're going to Jeroen and the impact of blockchain on society. Let's go.
Hi there. Welcome to my talk with the title, The Impact of Blockchain on Society. This talk is about that impact. Is there more to blockchain than just a speculation? Is it possible to cut out the government seen as a middleman? Many technology watchers use the word disruptive when they talk about blockchain technology. But is there any disruptive power of blockchain, and what is it? The result of this talk is this talk is the result of a thought experiment. There are no scientific claims, and it's an attempt to predict why and when this technology could make an impact on society. Okay, let's start with the talk. We're going to cover a few topics. First of all, we're going to talk about the promises of blockchain and the relation between technology and society in general. And we're going to talk about a few management principles in society, which result in a short talk on social self-organization and a prediction on why and in what situation blockchain technology could be of use for society. Let's start with the promises of blockchain, which is actually a very funny topic because many awkward predictions are made, especially when some new coin is introduced. Then people cannot stop shouting how wonderful this new crypto coin will be. And then these words as like disruptive and revolutionary are part of these promises. But I think the promises of blockchain, they fall in two categories. First of all, there are promises made to pump up the price of crypto coins. And it's clear that the reason why people make these promises is it's for speculation. They want to get rich, and they want to get rich quickly. So very easily, coins are described as the best coin to invest in, and so on. But these are fairly simple promises. They have a clear underlying objective, and so you can clearly see why these promises are made. But then there's a category of promises where people say, okay, blockchain is a technology that will set us free or will give us a better society. And these promises, you see here Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, and he talks about using blockchain as a key technology for the transformation of society, from a competitive society in a cooperative society. Well, that almost sounds religious when you listen to it, and it's interesting to see why these people have the idea that there is something very valuable in blockchain technology that it could and that could be of use in changing society. Well, the last bullet of this slide is, of course, are these promises then realistic? There's a large number of people think that, well, these promises are actually unrealistic, but that doesn't make them less interesting. Okay. First of all, these pump up the price promises. Do they work? Oh, yes, they work. But they will probably work for just a limited time. And they have an unpredictable result, resulting in up and down effect of the prices of these crypto coins. So it's visualized here with these girls on the trampoline. The price goes up and the price goes down. But as I mentioned before, it's a fairly harmless way of prediction. We are actually more interested in the question in this presentation: will blockchain technology have an impact on society, on the way that we organize society? So promises that are made with regard to a better society or a set-us-free society, they are the topic of this talk. Well, first let us look at what the modern equivalent of the Delphi's oracles say about this technology, and they have something that that is called the Gartner hype cycle, and it tries to predict what this society, or what not the society, what the technology will, the adoption of the technology in society, how that will take place. And when you look at these hype cycle diagrams, they are made every year for different technologies, so also for blockchain. You see that the blockchain is described in a number of categories, like zero knowledge proof, decentralized web, smart contracts, tokenization. And for each topic, Gartner predicts or states how far in the hype cycle this topic is evolved. So you can see that decentralized exchanges, they think that it will take place in 2 to 5 years, and it's in the early stage. It's an innovation trigger. With something like cryptocurrencies, which also have a very short time span, they are already in the slope of enlightenment. Well, actually, for this topic, these hype cycles are not very useful. They state, okay, decentralized blockchain applications are thriving, crypto coins are doing great. I think that's the meaning of what they say with this statement. And the second thing that they say, okay, however, most users are stuck trying to align use cases for this technology. And I think that means something like there are no blockchain-related applications other than crypto coins. Okay, it's actually a bit disappointing. When you look in history, you see other technologies like this one, the steam engine, steam technology. And this technology changed the world. Not everyone benefited from that change. On the contrary, large groups were actually victims of this technology. So so you should remind yourself that change or the impact of technology is quantum-like. It can be both positive and negative at the same time. But when this technology was invented long ago, I don't think that Mr. Watt had a clear idea of what the impact of this technology would be on the world. It was more that this technology was there and an application in the industry appeared, and so that was pretty cool, and people start working it. Now, when you look at blockchain technology, how would you describe that? We try to make a combination. We try to make a relation between blockchain technology and the Steam technology. But when you would look at blockchain, you say, okay, it's a combination of distributed database technology and cryptography. And it's useful when multiple agents, people, persons, unknown to each other, want to exchange data, but there is a danger in that situation of cheating. And in order to reduce the danger of cheating, in order to reduce the cheating behavior of people in that network, the network has an algorithmically enforced trust. The network gives the agents trust. Cool, very cool. We call these our rules of engagement. Our is a fan of calling them rules of engagement. And they try to explain when you should use blockchain technology. But when you describe the blockchain technology for people in this way that I did now, it's too complex for people to understand where the application field is. So the gap between the technology and the application is too big for most. When you go back to the promises, you could say, okay, blockchain technology could be very disruptive, as people state in their promises, but it's not actually clear what kind of revolution then this technology would be useful. With the steam engine case, you could say, okay, the steam engine led to the first industrial revolution. So could we also state then, when we know that steam engine led to this industrial revolution, is there some equivalent on the blockchain side? We could say, okay, blockchain technology will lead to some kind of revolution. And this is a very ambitious analogy because you know that steam engine wasn't invented for this industrial revolution. In hindsight, it led to the industrial revolution, but it wasn't the objective of the inventor. So it's very hard to predict, making this analogy to say, okay, blockchain technology will be very useful for that area. Okay. Now let's talk about organizational structures in society. We do so because we have the feeling that using this blockchain technology will be beneficial for optimizing organizational processes within society. Well, with regard to organizational structure in society, there are two opposing approaches. On the left-hand side, you see the linear structure. And it's an example of a top-down, predefined approach towards society. On the right-hand side, you see the non-linear or more graph-like structure. It's a bottom-up, emergent structure. On the left-hand side, it's centralized. On the right-hand side is distributed. On the left-hand side, the coordination principle is centralized. And on the right-hand side, there is no centralized coordination principle. It's unregulated. On the left-hand side, there is no social self-organization. And on the right-hand side, there is the possibility of social self-organization. Everybody is familiar with these kind of structures. Okay, you can see the government on the left-hand side, which is a top-down structure. And you see social structures that people every day engage when they are at home or when they're doing sports or when they are part of a local community, which is on the right-hand side. So it's a kind of opposing things like regulation versus unregulation. Well, how does that central coordination work? Well, the basic idea of this centralized situation is that the output of the system is optimized by having central coordination. And that means that the output of every individual in that system is controlled, monitored, or observed by some central authority. Typically, you could say, okay, you have a boss and it gives you a command, and then you have to do that. And when you have executed the command, you come back to your boss and say, I did it, and then your boss controls whether it's true what you did. And the boss does so for every employee in his or her team. But in order to work, to let this system, this centralized coordination principle work, it should actually be inescapable. You should not be able to say, okay, well, I will not do what you say. Maybe at best in this situation, you could say, okay, maybe this isn't the right command, boss. Maybe you should give me a different command. But the idea is the boss is the central authority and controls what's happening here. And the idea is that when you have this central coordination in place, then you can more or less predict what the outcome of the complete system will be. There's also a cost of central coordination. It's very costly because you need to control everything that's there. So in order to make this system work, you have a kind of overhead costs, the coordination costs. But not everything is centralized. Things like government, healthcare, education, they are regulated, linear and centralized. But we know that there's also a unregulated, non-linear and decentralized part in our society. Some countries try to be completely centralized, but I think you can safely say that in Western communities, in Western countries, there is unregulated space left. I don't know whether this unregulated space grows or decreases, but it's there. It's at home, at sports, in local communities, in online communities. And why is it there? It's probably there because it is too difficult to organize that unregulated space, or too costly to organize that unregulated space. And in that unregulated space, something interesting happened because people want to be organized in that unregulated space also. So a local community is not a disorganized community. It's organized, it's well organized, but it has it's self-organized. So there's not some central authority that says, okay, you have to organize yourself in such a way. You can decide yourself how you would do that. And in this unregulated space, people are looking for tools that will help them to organize themselves bottom up or spontaneous. Interesting in this slide is that in both spaces, the regulated one and the unregulated one, information technology is used to maximize the space. So the IT is used to, information technology is used in the regulated space to increase the span of control. Imagine centralized dictatorship-like societies They want to use IT to control every aspect of the society. And on the other hand, in the unregulated space, also technology is used to organize themselves. And blockchain is a very good technology candidate for organizing yourself in this unregulated space. The distributed nature of blockchain matches with the idea behind social self-organization. And it allows people to have an instant spontaneous coordination between the members of the community that they are part of. So the prediction is that blockchain will appear, or is already appearing, at the outskirts of regulated society. And successful use cases will therefore be in local and online communities that are at first below the radar of the regulated society. Centralized blockchain projects will, and there are centralized blockchain projects. Think of stablecoin projects of governments or central banks. They will not be aimed at social self-organization, but they will have the objective to increase the control of the regulated space. And that is a little bit awkward. So the statement of this slide is that, okay, blockchain, a good candidate for the unregulated space, but you will also see centralized blockchain projects that will have the objective to increase the control in the regulated space. That's not necessarily bad, but it's a very strange contradiction or situation. Okay, this is the last slide of the presentation. Because we are talking about social self-organization, but one of the things that is also a topic in this meetup is that we're going to talk about energy knip, and that is I think it's an example of social self-organization. The idea behind the energy knip is that you have a blockchain-based system for interaction between citizens and local government, and the coordination task within the people that use the energy knip is that there needs to be a distribution of vouchers for energy saving measures. And that's actually in the unregulated space, because the central governmental authority is not organizing the process of the distribution of these vouchers. So for the central governmental authority, this is all below the radar. And the energy knip application, the blockchain application called the energy knip, is, I think, a beautiful example of spontaneous organization. The app is created in a very short time with a limited amount of people and a limited budget, with the aim of, okay, how could we organize ourselves in such a way that we can efficiently organize the distribution of these energy saving measure vouchers. Okay. Thank you. This was my presentation.
Okay. Thank you, Jeroen. I believe a few people had a little bit problems with some noise. I tried to compensate while Jeroen was talking, but I don't know how successful that was. I see some people asking some questions. How far could it grow in the unregulated space until the regulated space steps in? Well, if you take that example from the EU trying to regulate the miners, you already are pushing that boundary, I believe. We are having unregulated space and people using miners to mine crypto and taking their freedom and perhaps not always paying taxes, etc. So the government steps in and tries to regulate that, and because it's money, That's even a worse point. I mean, take away things and people will come after you to get it back, but take away money, especially from the tax department and from government, then you really get in trouble. Okay, let's see if I can see any other question I need to answer. Otherwise, I will go ahead with my presentation about the energy knip, because we are already running. The time is going. Energy knip, then. Let me immerse my presentation. And I have so much to tell you about this project. The energy knip, a product developed by BlockchainLab Drenthe. And this is how it looks. It's an app, and there's a blockchain piece, and there is sustainability being mixed in. I'm gonna show how it works and tell you all about it. Yes, okay. This is how it works. The app has questionnaires which you can answer, and by providing the answer and sharing that with the municipality of Emmen, you are rewarded with coins or points, and you can spend these points at local hardware stores to improve the energy efficiency of your house. Right? This is a very special scheme, which is called Earmarked money, and we will see in a moment how that works. When we started at designing this app, we had a number of priorities. The first and foremost one was privacy. Right? There are lots of laws and regulations concerning privacy, and we didn't want to get into trouble with the addresses and the names and email addresses and all the other data from the inhabitants of Emmen. So privacy was very important, and we got the privacy officer of the municipality of Emmen on board on day one. Right? Then security. Security, of course, you're working with money, and it's not a few tenors, it's 150,000 euros. So security was important. We used an established protocol for that, and we'll talk about that also. Then, of course, user friendliness. Very important, because if you're working with 100,000 plus inhabitants in 49,000 houses, 49,000 wallets, then a small problem could be a big problem for your help desk, your support people. So it has to be super intuitive and user-friendly, because otherwise you will not be able to cope. And of course, it was a sustainability project. Sustainability was important in the project itself. So it dictated some of the choices we made, for instance, for which protocol we made our choice. What also was very important was stimulating our local economy. Right? In this pandemic, the entrepreneurs are having a hard time. So if it would be possible to stimulate the local economy, that would be very fine. And there was the last problem. How do we make this all sexy so everybody wants to use it? Right? So this list of priorities just defined the playing field in which we could design our app. And let me go to the next one. Starting with privacy. Like you probably know, that private information which can lead to a certain person, storing that information on a blockchain is a big no-no. Right? GDPR and General Data Protection Regulations says not done. You cannot do that, because even if you encrypt the information, in a number of years there will be an algorithm which breaks the encryption, and then the private information is on the street. Right? So storing information is a big no. And that's exactly what we didn't do. We do not store any private information. We don't even ask for it. I'll show you in a moment. It's very hard to do this privacy part, right? Because a municipality knows a lot of things about its inhabitants, right? If you have an address of somebody, you know who lived there, father, mother, how many children, how big the house is, if they have a car or not, if they have a dog or not. Yeah, you pay taxes. So the municipality is our client, but in case of privacy, also our worst enemy. So we have to be very careful that the municipality doesn't know anything about these inhabitants. So how do we ensure that these people can use the app in an anonymous way? We did a very special trick in the end. For the people who are in the crypto space, I think they know what I mean when I say we did an airdrop. We did a paper airdrop in a neighborhood, right? So to ensure that these people are absolutely anonymous, we made a QR code, and that QR code is used to unlock the wallet of the inhabitants. But we cannot send that by normal mail post, right? Because then we have an address and a QR code, and then the municipality knows. Or we could not email it to these people, because then we have an email address and a QR code. So we did a paper airdrop, which means that all the QR cards were distributed in a neighborhood, door to door, random. Right? So we generated a series of QR codes, right, which are pseudo-random. You cannot distinguish one from the other, but they have to stay in that neighborhood, because afterwards, with a very special algorithm where we generate these series again and again, because there are hash functions in there, so you cannot calculate back, but you can only calculate from the master key. We can see which answers belong to which neighborhood, right? In that way, we can retrieve the data, aggregate it for that neighborhood, but we still don't know which QR code ended up at which house. People are absolutely anonymous, and you can see that also in the app. This is from our website. We used privacy by design. So we never ask for a name, an email address, or an address, or a telephone number. Never do people have to type that in. Like I said, the QR codes are randomly per village or per neighborhood, and we don't know which QR code ends up at which house. The municipality only gets the data for that complete village, not even for a street, only for a complete neighborhood with 1,000 or 5,000 inhabitants, not for a small part. We don't contact the people. We will publish the data as open data, and you can opt in to share the data with the municipality. It's not mandatory, right? You can choose to not share the data with the municipality. So privacy by design, this was our ground rule. Now we use the IOTA protocol. We use that for security, right? The protocol is a blockchain we use, and as you can see, IOTA has their own coin, and at the moment there is about $3 billion in there. Well, if their protocol can hold 3 billion and more, then they can probably hold our 150,000 euros. So we're okay with that. But IOTA is a large player with, I believe, somewhere between 150 and 200 employees at the moment, with headquarters in Berlin. And they have very special properties I will talk about. But so they are secure, and they are so much secure that they are at the moment in the race. They are with the last 5 contenders to be considered for the European blockchain service infrastructure. So there is recognition all around. Now, the property I was talking about is that IOTA is very energy efficient. Right? Here you can see a table where Bitcoin uses per transaction 22.4 days of average electricity use of a normal household. So if you do one transaction in Bitcoin, it'll take 22.4 days of electricity. Now that's a lot. Ethereum only takes 42 hours, which is a lot better, but IOTA uses 3.2 milliseconds, so 3.2 thousandths of a second of that same average energy use of a household, right? And here you can see the comparison with MasterCard, which uses 1.2 seconds. So it's even more energy efficient than a credit card transaction or a bank transaction, which in a sustainability project, which we are doing with this energy knip, is very, very important, right? So why do we use IOTA? For 2 reasons: very low energy, and it is feeless. IOTA doesn't have miners. You mine your own transaction on your own device, so to speak. So you don't have to pay transaction costs, which is of course very nice if you are giving people a grant from the government. You want that nearly all the money or all the money gets into their hands, and making the transactions feeless is a big plus. Now, before you open your laptop, I know a lot of IOTA investors are looking. Before you open your laptop and starting up your Firefly wallet, this is a project on a private tangle. It's an IOTA-based private tangle, and what we do with that is we make our own asset-backed stablecoin. So the municipality doesn't buy coins on an exchange and then distributes them to all the people in the municipality. No, we have our own coin. We have our own coin, which is backed by real cash money, right, in the bank of the municipality. And we have to, right? We contacted the Dutch National Bank, and because we had to know, can we do this? And if you make your own coin and distribute it in the way we did out of thin air, boy, you're in trouble. You need a lot of permits. You need to jump through a lot of hoops. But this, what we did, having an asset-backed stablecoin, where the municipality has the money and it distributes it from one bank to another bank, then it's okay. So that's what we did. Now, we were met with some skepticism, right? Some resistance, some prejudice, as with every blockchain project, right? On a big website for municipalities, there were some people from other municipalities writing reactions like, why with blockchain? You should do that with a simple centralized database and just put a portal before that. We work with that kind of stuff every day. Why use blockchain? Or how much energy is this blockchain using for this energy efficiency project? This cannot be right because blockchains use lots and lots of electricity. Well, not ours, right? And the first thing, why don't you use a centralized server? Because of privacy. People have to log in. It's more vulnerable than a decentralized one. Remember, we don't ask any names, any addresses, any email addresses, phone numbers, nothing, right? And if you put this in a centralized database, you're very vulnerable. Also, the banks didn't really put in a lot of effort to have us interface with them, right? Because the retailers have to be paid out for the coins they have. And we also met a lot of resistance something like that. Oh boy. Now, labeled or earmarked money, that's what we're talking about, right? The municipality has some money that you can only use for that certain purpose. The grant, where the money is coming from, is there to improve the energy efficiency of your house. Right? So that's what we did. And earmarked money is a special money with a rule in it, so to speak. You can only use it for certain goods, like in our case, only for sustainability products, in a certain time, and the time in our project is until July. And it could also be for certain people, not in our case, because we have anonymous users, right? And these users, in our case, are the people living in the house. But the wallet is for the house, right? Every house has one wallet. And there can be 8 people living in that house, and they can all install the app and scan the QR code, and they all see the same information. They all have the same account, but the wallet belongs to the house. So the people are there only temporarily, right? The people sell the house, move away, but the solar panels are still on the roof. The heat pump is still behind the house. The double glazing stays there, right? So we designed it in a way that every house gets its own identity, its own wallet on our private tangle. Now, this earmarked money has huge field of applications, right? You can do lots of things. Think about helping people with low incomes, food banks, all kinds of stuff. It's really interesting. Here you see the earmarked money my grandmother worked with, right? Earmarked money is nothing new. She had this little tin with all these slits in it, right? And they all have a different title. One was for clothing, one was for holidays, one was for insurance, right? And every week or every month when she got her money, she put something in there, and she would only open it when she would really need that money for that purpose. Right? So people voluntarily use earmarked money for themselves. Now, this is a case where the municipality or the government designed earmarked money. And I hear somebody saying, well, I don't want to be forced to use my money for a certain item. Well, it doesn't work that way. The municipality says, hey, I got this money. You can get it, or you can leave it, right? If you, I want to give it to you if you use it for that, for improving your house. Yeah, but don't say, give me the money and I will decide if I'm going to use that for changing the energy efficiency of my house. Now, and it's not bad. People used to do it themselves. Now, here you see 3 projects here in the Netherlands that also do that already, right? There is the Stadjespas in Groningen. Well, they have that they don't use money. They do that in services. You can get rebates with your Stadjespas, which is a card. Then there is the project in Zuidhoorn a few years ago, where they had special grants for people who are under a certain social income. With children, and the money could only be spent on things for the children. You couldn't go and buy yourself a television set or go to the baker or the butcher. No, it should only be spent on stuff, children toys, a bicycle, whatever. And then there is a more recent project in Heerlen called Heerlens Heitje, where they have their own coin. They have an app where they post small chores in the neighborhood, and somebody could see a certain chore and says, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to paint the side curb. And he goes to the municipality, gets the paint and the stuff he needs for that, paints the side curb, and when he's done, he makes a picture, sends that back to the municipality, and somebody at the municipality says, okay, you earned now so many of these coins. And they can go to local shops and spend these coins. Instead of going to Amazon or Zalando or whoever, you spend the money at local shops who can really need that at the moment. So it's not new. There are already other projects. What is new is the scale that Emmen is doing it in, because ours is bigger, so to speak. Here you see how it works. Every house in the municipality of Emmen gets a card like this, door-to-door distributed. And there's a QR code on it. And with this QR code, you scan this with your smartphone. There's a link in it that shows you your Google store or your iOS store where you can get the app. Right? You install the app, then you scan the code again, and this unlocks the wallet. So one QR code for one wallet. And don't scan this QR code. This is a demo one, which brings you to our website, energieknip.nl. So that's how it works. You get the app, unlock your wallet, and then you get this. You get, this is the resident version, because the app has a few different sides to it. So here you can see the main menu with 6 buttons. You can start answering questions. You can look at your balance. You can look what packages you can buy at the hardware stores. You can change the settings. My finger goes up. You can change the settings, the language. We have a Dutch version and an English version. You can scan QR codes, like the one you did for activating the wallet, but also a QR code with which you pay. And on the other one, you can see your transaction history. That's it. Right? In the second screen, you can see there are different questionnaires. There's first a small questionnaire with only 2-3 questions, just to get into the mood. Right? So we ask what kind of a house this is, if it's an apartment building, or if it's a home which is standing clear of all the other neighbors. And how many people are living there? If you're on your own, if you're 2 or more. And by answering these questions, you earn 5,000 points, and 5,000 points is €5. With those 5,000 points, you can already go to the hardware store and buy some LED lights. LED, which are very energy efficient, as we know. But most people, when they start answering questions, they go right until the end. Right? Those are about 30 questions. It'll take you 4 minutes. And in the end, you will have earned 50,000 points, which is in the value of €50. Underneath those lists with questionnaires, you can see the account balance of the municipality of Emmen. So you can see how much money is left in the account of the grant. And you will see that going down every day. Right? Every time one of the inhabitants answers these questions, this number will go down, which generates a sense of urgency. Right? You have this app activated. You don't put it away for 2-3 weeks. I'll look into it next month, because the money could be gone. You will see that the counter is going down. Okay, now this is the resident side. Every card which is distributed will open up the wallet of a resident. But we also have special QR codes for the shop owners. We have a special onboarding procedure where the shop owner gives us his bank account number. We generate a special QR code, and when you take that same app, what all residents are using, that same app, but you scan that special QR code, this app will change into a cash register, so to speak. Right here, you can press a button for a cash register, and then you see a number of buttons with different packages with different amounts of points. You can see all the transactions they did today or last week. You can change the language again. You can scan a QR code if you want to change the account. Or we have a special button if the shop owner wants to be paid out for the points he has. Now, how does this work? Very simple. A person has earned points on his phone, goes to a hardware store, selects the box with energy saving measures he wants to have. It could be in the value of 5 euros, 15, 30 euros, or 50 euros. We have 4 packages pre-selected to make it a little bit easier for the shop owners. They press a button on their cash register, which generates a QR code you see in the end. They show the QR code to the resident scans the QR code, and his phone will say, oh, would you like to pay 50,000 points to Hubo, which is a hardware store here in the Netherlands. The only thing they have to do is say, yes, pay. And at that moment, the transaction is being done on the Tangle, and on their phones, both will show a green box that it was successful. That's it, right? The shop owner gives the box, and the homeowner goes back to his house and installs the lights or whatever, right? The shop owner now has these points in his wallet, right? And later that evening, there's a payment robot that is going to pay him his euros. I'll show you in a moment. First, I will show you a demo movie of how the wallet works. Let me go and show you that.
Residents of the Emmen municipality receive an anonymous letter with instructions about the e-knip. Please read the instructions carefully. You will also receive a QR code along with the instructions. Pay attention, don't throw away this code. This code could help you claim financial rewards. For example, place this code next to the fuse box or take a photo and store it in a safe place. The letter states where you can download the app. For Apple, iPhone, iPad or other devices with iOS operating systems, you go to the App Store. For a mobile device or tablet with Android, you go to the Play Store. Search within the App Store or Play Store for e-knip Emmen and download the app with this logo. After you completed the installation, you can start the app. When you start the app for the first time, you will ask to grant access to your camera. Give your permission for this so you can scan your QR code. In addition, you will be asked whether you want to give permission for the municipality of Emmen to use information regarding the house's sustainability and energy habits. This information cannot be traced back to you or your home. The municipality of Emmen has developed a number of questions that you can answer. These questions are all related to the sustainability of your home, your behavior, and energy saving measures that you have already taken. Answering the questions is voluntary, but you will be rewarded for doing so. After you have answered the questions, you can press Save and Continue. You will receive a notification stating that your ESM has been submitted and will be processed within 24 hours. ESM stands for Energy Saving Measurement. You will subsequently be directed to an overview of your answers. You can view your current balance by using the balance button on the dashboard. As a user, you will receive Emmen coins for installing the app and answering questions. You can exchange Emmen coins for packages of energy saving measures at a local company that is affiliated with the e-knip program. You or your representative can go to an affiliated company. There you can choose your desired package. Check whether your balance is sufficient for the value of the chosen package. An employee will create a transaction for you. This will produce a QR code with a description and amount. Check that it is correct. Subsequently, you can scan the QR code and confirm the transaction. You will get a notification. Upon confirmation, the transaction will have been completed.
Okay, so you've seen the demo, and let me show you in this design how it works. So every house will get a QR code. That QR code it will open the wallet for that house. In that wallet there will be data and coins, right? The data is the answers to the questions that they answered, right? Do you have solar panels? Do you have a heat pump, etc.? Now, this data is then shared with the municipality, right? People are used to giving their data for free to Mr. Zuckerberg, and he gets rich. This time, you will get the reward for the answers for the data yourself. So you share the data with the municipality. The municipality will give you coins or points in return. With those coins, you go to the shops, to the retailers. You pay with the points and you get a box with energy saving measures to take home. Now, the coins are at the retailer. The retailer sends them to the municipality, right? And for every 1,000 points he sends back, a payment robot will see to it that he gets €1 in his bank account. Now you see there is a virtual world and a physical world in this design. The virtual world is our IOTA-based network, our private tangle. All the transactions on this side are feeless. The transactions in the real world, right, the physical world, are from bank to bank. So they pay 10 or 11 cents per transactions, but the transactions are bucketed, right? So if the Gamma, for instance, which is a hardware store in Holland, has 20 transactions in one day, it's not 20 times 11 cents, what normally would be the case. No, it's only one transaction with the total amount of those 20 packages on that day. Very simple, fast. These transactions will most of the time be between 5 or 10 seconds. So in the demo movie, we told you within 24 hours you will get your points. Normally that will be 5 to 10 seconds. And if there is a very big capacity being taken by all these people doing the transaction at once, then it could be on average 2 hours or something. But I believe that in 99% of the time it will be within 5 to 10 seconds. Let me go back. The municipality of Emmen consists of 28 neighborhoods. On this map you can see all these different villages and neighborhoods where we will distribute the QR cards. And I said we will, they already have been. We started with the neighborhoods with the oldest houses, which need these measures the most. Also the neighborhoods where the average income is the lowest. And in that case, they have the first opportunity to collect the goods. Because there is not enough for all the houses. There is not enough for 49,000 houses. So it's on a first come first serve basis, and we started with the oldest houses first. Now it's what I would call a win-win situation, right? The inhabitants will get €50 for energy saving measures. It's earmarked money. You can only use it for that. The shop owners will get revenue, right? And they can use it at the moment, believe me. And they will have new customers, people who haven't been to that shop yet, but now see what they can buy there. And I will also believe that if you go in there and you're standing there with your box, you say, okay, while I'm here, I will take a few other things with me also. So they will get more revenue than just the revenue from the municipality. Now, the municipality will get the data, right? And last but certainly not least, because that's what all this project is about, the environment will profit, because there will be a better energy efficiency in the houses. People will be more aware, right? For instance, what's in the app is we ask these questions, but at every question there is an I button, an information button. So that when we ask, do you close your curtains at night, right? That is information for the municipality, right? To have, maybe they want to do a project where they go into a village and they do a special action, so people will close their curtains more. But when you push the I button, it'll tell you by closing the curtains at night, of course, especially in winter, you will save 4% on your energy bill on average, right? So we don't only ask these questions, we also provide the information to make people more aware of what they could do in their house to save energy. And another aspect is, because all these people shop locally instead of Amazon or a web shop in Amsterdam, whatever, all these packages don't have to travel by truck 200 kilometers to Emmen. So it will also be a CO2 reduction. Right? So there are many aspects which are profitable for the environment. It's a win-win situation. Now, I showed you this picture before. When we introduced the app last week, there was a lot of turmoil going on. Lots of people were interested in this project. Lots of international websites started writing about this project, and we were a bit overwhelmed by that. It's great that this project started, people being more aware that blockchain projects don't have to be big energy wasters, right? And IOTA is to thank for that. And what we did was we started on Twitter, and our first tweet got nearly 75,000 views. Or we showed one of the vice mayors with the package, and it got 35,000 views. It was incredible. People in the internet started asking questions. When is this coming to my city? And sent to their mayor a small message. Look at this. When in Spain, when in Germany, when in Turkey. Amsterdam next? It would be great, right? So it was great to have these ambassadors, these people are starting asking questions. And even the IOTA Foundation wrote a blog about this project, showing how it works, explaining how you could use IOTA in this case for a sustainability project, which is of course great. Now the numbers, right? We've been sending out these QR codes since 10 days, right? So the total number of wallets is 48,575. One for every house in our municipality. And with that number, this project is the largest public service governmental blockchain project in the Netherlands, which is incredible, right? The total money at the moment is 150,000 euros. And I say at the moment because there is a chance that because of this enormous success and people being so enthusiastic about this, that the municipality is going to increase this. But still no promises. They're working on it. At this moment, nearly 100,000 euros has been earned by the people answering the questions and sharing the data with the municipality. And of those 100,000, nearly 25,000 euros is already spent in hardware stores, right? So these hardware stores have been selling boxes over the counter every day. They are smiling from ear to ear because of this. And this is only day 10, right? So in 10 days, we've seen this huge adoption, people embracing the technology, which is incredible. Right? I expected it to be successful. I did not, in my wildest dream, suspected it to be this successful. Right? So it is a really proof that people want to use a local currency which lives on their phone. Right? They can use it. We were very curious how the residents would react to this. So these are the hard numbers of how it works. Let's go to the next segment where Martin Visser from the municipality here in Emmen sheds his light on the project. I spoke to him a few hours ago this afternoon, and I will start that for you now. Okay, this evening we have a guest speaker from the municipality in Emmen, and he's going to introduce himself. Let me push a few buttons to get him on the screen. Martin Visser from the municipality in Emmen. Hello, Martin. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, Adrie. Hello, everyone. I'm Martin Visser. I'm concern manager with the municipality of Emmen. Since 2017, we manage the organization. About 1,000 people work there with 4 colleagues and the general director. And my focus is on public service and information management.
Great. Well, it's quite a big organization, 1,000 people. Well, we have an international audience. Where is Emmen, and how would you describe Emmen for them? Because we know, but they don't.
No. I think not everybody knows Emmen, and maybe they should. Emmen is the place where Bluetooth is invented. Emmen is a city, about 100,000 inhabitants. Emmen is a rural area in the north of Holland, near the border of Germany. We have lots of space. Tourism is an important and growing in Emmen. And we have a growing and a quite modern manufacturing industry. Furthermore, we are developing and seeing opportunity in the energy transition. We have quite a big sun park and are investing in a hydrogen factory for we are expecting to now quite the development there with sun energy.
Yeah, I heard Shell is developing hydrogen and lots of other things in Emmen. So we are and innovative and green. That's a good combination. Emmen is very innovation minded. How did Emmen get involved in blockchain?
Well, Emmen as a city, we are not a big economic place. So to become seen, you have to do new things. So Emmen sees innovation and has seen innovation quite a long time as an opportunity to develop economically. We have quite a few startups and small companies using and implementing innovations and new technologies. I named Bluetooth as an invention, but there are a lot more companies trying new technologies and being innovative to grow economically.
Yeah, great.
As an organization, a municipality is not so innovative, historically seen. We are in a different role. We are at public service, and we give, for example, permits, and the people working with the municipality are for example, legal or applying law. So that's not a very innovative state of mind. On the other hand, we see the opportunities and the development as quite an opportunity for us to keep track with everything that's happening outside. So we try to become more innovative, and we do that by experimenting and trying to use new technologies.
And you see that all over the world. Like a government is always a bit lagging behind in technology, right? Well, that's their task more or less, right? So public services and law, rules and regulations are always behind. But it's a good thing that you try to keep up and see the opportunities in innovation. I heard the municipality already experimented with earmarked money like we described this evening a few years ago. Can you tell something about that?
Yes, we believe when applying new technologies, you have to start small. And 2 years ago, we had for Christmas we give our employees a present, and we used an app where they get coins, and they could use these coins with a local market, with local shops to buy them sort of Christmas presents. It was quite an interesting experiment. We learned a lot, and the experiment with the energy knip, which started a few days ago, is the next step for us.
Yeah, so you are before the wave of crypto was coming to local municipalities. You were already experimenting very well.
A small experiment, but in a way we find with the upcoming of blockchain, we find it very interesting what lies beneath the new technology. Trusted third parties, such as government or banks, are in quite a big position, and this technology is going to change that position. And we believe that change is going to happen. It's not going to be tomorrow, but it's going to happen. And the way to be part of the change is to adapt it early. So that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, well, I fully understand. I mean, it is going to change. The future is coming, and it's very hard to foresee the future. There's only one thing you can do, is to make the future, to shape the future. And that's what you're doing. I mean, this Christmas package experiment was with 1,000 of your employees. So that's already a quite large group. And to see how they react to coins on their phone and having to pay with that, that's something pretty new. And that's what we were experiencing with the residents also, right? It's always a bit of a gamble. Will people accept this, and will everybody know how to react and interact with it? And well, so far it's going great. The energy knip has been deployed 10 days now, and of course it's very early. But what is your first reaction to how it's developing so far?
Yeah, it's very positive. We are blown away, so to speak. A lot of people have found the way to the app and are distributing it and using it. And we're only 10 days on the way. So it's quite big. It's very nice to see. We have a long preparation, and when it start up, it's nice to see the response is so positive. And also the retailers we use are very positive over the experiment. It's looking quite good.
Yeah, great. I've had some reactions, some interactions with some residents, and everybody seems to be able to use it. There are only a few buttons on the app, okay, so it's not very complex. But we don't have a large support system where they can call and etc. So it's supposed to be very easy for them to use. Do you think there are more applications for this technology in municipalities in general, or here in Emmen as the municipality itself?
Yeah, I think we're just starting. I think this technology and technology in whole is full of opportunities for us to improve our service to the public, and also change our service to the public. So I think we're just beginning and not even able to see the opportunities that are lying ahead. So I think it will be big, and the only way to get the technology, make it yours, is just start and apply it.
Yeah, well, let me end this with, we're living in interesting times, so to speak.
Yeah. That's nicely put.
We're living in very interesting times. Well, thank you, Martin. Great to have you on board to give the view of the municipality. And we'll speak each other later, and I'll go back to the live stream. Thank you very much.
It was nice to be here, and very, success to everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay, well, that is the energy knip. And let me look at the chat. I see a number of questions, and I see some of the questions are being answered by Jeroen also. There were some questions if this is an individual grant per QR code. No, it is not. The grant is to the municipality as a bulk sum, and then the municipality has is obliged to distribute that, and it used to be in vouchers, little pieces of paper which would state that you would be able to get 50 euros to help with the energy efficiency of your house. But I've spoken to many people that received that voucher and put it somewhere on the side, did not use it. And last year, only a small percentage of that grant money was used in that way. And we can have different philosophies about why and what's happened. Because you could say, hey, people are using the app because of the financial incentive. They can get 50 euros. Yeah, but they could get 50 euros last year also. They got it and they didn't use it, right? So I think that in the app we made a combination of lots of factors. One of the things is there is a hype in crypto, right? People heard about it, saw it on the television, and this is their way to sniff a little bit on the topic of cryptos. How does that work on my phone, and coins and points, and taking it to a retailer and paying with it? There is also the fact that the energy prices are shooting through the roof, right? So last year people didn't pay any attention, but now nearly every second day on the news is higher gas prices, electricity prices, etc. So people are more aware. Then there is the fact of gamification, right? The municipality balance on the screen counting down gives them a sense of, the term we use in cryptos is FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. I see the money lying there on the balance of the municipality. The only thing I have to do is put in the questionnaire, and some of that is mine. And if I wait too long, it'll be gone, right? Other factors are when I got a piece of paper which states 50 euros. It's the same rule which is in the internet, right? If you get something for free, it's probably not worth much, right? And now in this app, people answer these questions. They earn these 50 euros, right? And they help the municipality with their information to make better future policy. So there are lots of mechanisms in the app which are used to incentivize the residents to work with it and to answer it and to use it. So yeah, I'm not a psychologist. I don't know what the effect of all these different parts is. I only see the numbers, and the numbers are very, very positive. Let me see if there are any other questions. Yeah, you're right. Somebody says more ways people can spend the coins, the better. Yep, absolutely right. More shops is a better way for them to use the app. Right now we have 10 hardware stores, large ones. Right, so people can go there. They are well known. In every part of Emmen, there is at least one or two of these shops nearby. But if there is other ways that earmarked money can be used for other topics, right? Supermarkets or whatever for food, the more the merrier, right? You will have to be very specific for earmarked money, right? That's also one of the rules of the Dutch National Bank. Right, the scale is important. I saw somebody asking a question, what if you do this nationally? Well, if we do this nationally, we will have to visit the Dutch National Bank again, because I am pretty sure they will object. Emmen, 100,000 residents, no problem. But if you're going to do that for 1 million, then that might be something else. The same for shops. So if the more you make it available in more shops, then the harder it is to control it, right? Let's give you an example. If I give somebody with a very low income money to go to the supermarket, yeah, but they could also spend it on liquor, they could spend it on lottery tickets, they could, etc. So even in that certain shop, you would have behavior that is less desirable for helping these people with low incomes. So you'll have to do a lot of back and forth and privacy issues before you can do that. But we're working on it and we're thinking about it, and there are projects already developing, bubbling, where things like that will happen. Let's see, there's someone who says where the cost of using IOTA is. There is no cost. The cost is that you're running a number of nodes, right? The only electricity that is used is a number of nodes we have deployed with a coordinator and a number of nodes for connecting to the client apps, and that's it. There are no costs involved. Thank you, IOTA, for running this protocol. Spending coins in a sustainable product increases its value as carbon negative. Yeah, but correct. Great. Let me see if I have any other questions. I don't see. What was technically the most difficult hiccup in the project? Okay. Well, we developed this app in React Native. Well, that's a language in which you can program apps for iOS and for Android at the same time. And the libraries we got from the IOTA Foundation are not yet really compatible with React Native. So we had some difficulties adjusting to that, the starting problems. There were some other minor problems we had at the start, but staff and IOTA community are very quick and very cooperative to help us. Even if it was in the week, during the weekend or at evenings, if I would send them a question, many of them would react, and that is very, very valuable to us. Let me see. I don't see any other pressing questions there. Now, we went over time as usual, so I will try to wrap this up, and I have only a few things. Of course, I have to thank our guest speaker, Martin Visser, and of course, Jeroen Wester also. I have to announce when our next meetup is going to be, February 17th. And I will have to be a real YouTuber and ask you to subscribe and like and etc. Because then this information, this movie, will go up in ranking on YouTube, and people can better find it. So it sounds a bit YouTubey, but please do. Then the last thing I have to do, I see one question: did every user become new node in IOTA? No, there are a number of nodes where the app connects to and where the people give their transactions. So not every user is a node. There are at least 15 or 20,000 users per node in the system. Okay, then this is the conclusion. I hope you liked it, or that you at least think it is valuable. I hope you like the project. I hope you can do something with the information. I will switch over to the Kumo space in 2-3 minutes. I will put the address to that Kumo space here in the chat, like that. I will have to close a few things of the stream, but I will be there in a few minutes, and then we can have some interaction and answer some questions anyway. So I hope to see you on February the 17th, and we will have more interesting topics for you. Have a good evening. Good night.